Welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. Miranda, we did it. We sort of escaped. We didn't really escape. We got drugged.
We got captured in a new way.
You escaped consciousness.
Yeah,
Isn't that the ultimate goal?
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for running that room for us.
We got a lot. We got the explosion of story in this one.
Yes,
which is
we got all the
always
Graveses.
fun. How did you come to be that person in this group project?
So, via my own stupidity. So, when the original idea of the museum was being pitched, and you may recall the last room I did was a place that I worked, and it was in a store, and the setting was very mundane. And I like a mundane setting because I feel like I have more room to be creative when I'm constrained by that. So I was like, cool. I want to do the room that does not have magic in it. That is what I want. And I kind of failed to account for the fact that like it needed to have a giant lore dump, would constantly be changing based on how other rooms change. And ultimately, I think it kind of does end up having magic in it, just a different way. So it didn't really work with my original plan, but that was my line of thinking.
It was a lot more hand wave asterisk magic than some of the other rooms where it was the entire crux of the room is being able to interact with this magic. So I get that. Oh, man. The puzzles were great. My brain just wasn't in words. I don't know what was wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I was so happy when I got box as the connection between those first ones. And after that, everything left me. It was very distressing. I wish that I had been more of a factor in those sculptures and relating them to the symbols, because you got that immediately, and I thought that was great fun.
As soon as you said a man had a Dorito shape, I was like, oh, great, he's a triangle, so he's going to be one of these triangle symbols. We had a symbol that was a triangle, that's fine. I think in the end, the word one, like, getting row for those was perfectly fine.
Yeah, it was completely fine.
Shelfware,
so frustrating.
Being a phrase
that one was
one
that we hadn't heard bits and pieces of, so it wasn't surprising that took us a bit longer.
Yeah,
so
shelf fungus is not
box.
I know those types of mushrooms. Shelf fungus is a term I've never heard before, and it's so specific because there's nothing else that goes with fungus that it does make you start being it can't be a word
baffling.
from before or after this because that's not going to work with fungus. So let's rule that out completely. It was a bit tough.
That was interesting. And then stable has such. It feels like it's not going to have much that works with it either.
But it worked out fine. We got them all in the end.
Completely fine. Asterisk.
But
it turns out there's not a lot of words that go with shelf.
Oh no, fair enough.
Very fair. I also very much enjoyed doing the timeline of people.
Timeline of people stuff was great. I loved doing the finding little clues as you went and knowing who was where and what was they
having to actually use
the
the portraits, the associations with their backgrounds.
Yeah, and the fact that it also came in a couple of different places rather than mostly in one, but also in another was nice.
Definitely.
Having two sources of it. And then, solving for sulfur, we should have been able to just do. That was again purely a thing of not saying it out loud.
I am definitely one of the people. I write sulfur with an F, so it shouldn't have taken me any longer because I know that everyone writes it with a PH, but I personally write it with an F.
But yeah, you would have got it had I said out loud the thing that I was thinking, because there was a moment
plus
where
backwards, quite possibly.
Literally, if I'd said out loud what was in my head, it would have been, well, it could be add backwards, so like plus backwards, but so it's sulp, S-U-L-P.
You're right.
But I don't know anything that starts with sulp.
I think that would have worked for us.
And then you probably would have got it.
Yeah, maybe. Just looked up Jane Austen. So the dates that we had for Alexander were 1776 to 1816. And we speculated right at the start, hey, is that Jane Austen years? And say Jane Austen's years, 1775 to 1817.
Oh, we were so close.
Wow, they're contemporaries.
That's the same time.
Not only that, December 1775.
Yeah, smashed it. But yeah, it was like the puzzles were really great. Really enjoyed them. We just screwed up some of them for no real reason.
No.
Even then, we didn't screw up. It just
Now,
took a little while.
Let's just be note that we are recording this 2 days after daylight saving is hit, so I assume that is why our brains are wonky.
Oh, hey, I have the excuse that I'm still feeling really sick and weird and not fully with it
Sure.
from changing. I'm still in the, my first month of new meds, and
That's it.
making me
That
sleepy.
is
Could be.
the reason.
Or I might just
Exclusively.
be a bad person.
Probably not. But they all worked perfectly fine. We spent a long time on those first 4 books.
We did
when
a
it was
bit
just like go to the south and look at the one about
completely dismissed the name of the rocket that we're in, even though you did make it sound important.
I've written it down. I'd written it down.
And yeah, Miranda, you made it sound like not overly punchingly important, but you did make it sound like it was a thing that we should store in our lore banks, and yet I didn't.
That's okay. I think we're just on a different wavelength.
And that can happen, it's been 4 years. It can take us a bit of readjusting to get back there. Especially, that's been the case for a connected arc with everyone writing a different room. We have been having to get on a different person's wavelength every time. And
that's true. And you probably don't, yeah.
It's definitely different each time. And it can take a bit to move from one to the other. Like, yeah, the last room, the planes, trains, and elevators, I would say that was a completely different wavelength to the one that we've just done now. Oh, by the way, do you have a name for this one?
Yeah.
Oh, Raiders of the Lost Archives.
Says it right there on our screen, Danny.
What?
Raiders of the Lost Archives.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I said
can
it
see that.
out loud when we opened the files.
Oops.
Now, I want to go through, because I don't want to not do it. Apparently, there's an entire puzzle you cut from this episode.
Yes.
As we were going, which involved what has been cut from the first episode, but there was a moment where we found a reference to a maths book, and presumably also that was what we should have looked at on a table of books, which may also have been cut from the original episode.
Ooh.
Yeah, you probably should do that.
Okay.
What is it? So I want to look at it now. How do we do that puzzle?
You can look at the math book, I think. Okay, let me see what it's called.
We've got math.
I don't even know what they're called.
PNG.
There's so many images. There's math book, and then there's note in book, and I will read you the description. Or will I? I shouldn't have alphabetized all of this. I should have alphabetized it by section. So now that you know what you're looking for, picking through the messy stacks is easy. You locate a math book. The title is Elements, Methods, Egotism, Mathematics Scholars by Redacted. It looks like the author's name part of the embossed title has rubbed off over time. No matter, it's probably not important. A piece of notebook paper is stuck in the book, which opens to a chapter about Leonardo Bonacci, aka Fibonacci, and some of his most important accomplishments. The notebook paper has a handwritten note on it. So
every second I'm in here reading each and every boring little word of these books is a huge waste of time. The secret I'm seeking is long gone. I don't know the title or what became of that book. I should just give up.
Oh.
Now, this is apparently in the Fibonacci section.
Yeah.
So can we look at the first word, then the
First word.
then the first word again. So every second. But yes, every second I'm here, because we go to the fifth word. And
okay, this doesn't seem to be doing it.
Okay, that's not what we should be doing.
I think it's a great idea. I think you're numbering all of the words.
All right,
instead of it's relative. Maybe where you are is relative.
So we make that many jumps. Like we start with, so we go like every.
Okay.
Then we go up one to second.
Uh-huh.
Then we go up one again.
Okay.
To I'm. Then we go
Yeah.
up two to here. And then
And then of.
You added a third one.
We added a third
We
one.
didn't add a
Oops.
third one. We did every second. So okay, hold on.
Huh.
So every second in. No, every.
Each word. Every second in each
So we go. So
word.
that's. So we start at one, then we go up one, then we go up two. So every
Cool.
second in, and then we go up three. Each.
6, 7, 8 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Title.
So what does it say?
Every second. Sorry.
Yeah, so you just started saying
I was
later
saying
ones.
them out loud. I thought you might have heard what
No,
I was saying.
I was starting again, and then you just went, of title. And I went, all right, I don't know what we're doing anymore. So it's every. Then we go up another 1 to second.
In each word of title.
Every second in each word of title.
Okay.
Cool.
You have the book cover if you want to look
And
at
then
it.
the book title, so it's
Legacy.
Legacy.
Why?
Why? Legacy.
That is a word. What would we have done with legacy?
You could have gotten into the computer. I just didn't make you type in the password.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Because that took all of my testers like half an hour. And so by the time we got there, I was like,
That's
the video of that guy going,
fair.
oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man, oh God.
That is a good puzzle. It is a challenging puzzle. It's the sort of thing that could, I wouldn't necessarily say be a centerpiece puzzle of a room because it doesn't have
Doesn't connect to any.
it doesn't feel
things.
as story-ish, but it would be a significant thing. So yeah, you'd have. I would say that would be good for a room with fewer puzzles.
It was the
But
first
it's a
one I
solid
came
puzzle.
up with. And you got it as a bonus.
It's
So
absolutely. I'm very glad that we did because it's really well done. Making the words work like that must have been a bit of a pain.
and I miscounted several times. So that one had to go through a few edits.
It'll do. Oh, yeah. Is there much else that has changed between the first edition of the room and what we've ended up with?
Yes, it's been gutted. So that one that I just cut, I was going to be like, that's one of the only surviving ones. The spaceship at the beginning didn't really change. The fact that your goal was to like mix something together to figure out how to get the age of the paintings hasn't changed. The paintings themselves and how to place them, that was kind of the main idea of the room, I guess.
Absolutely.
So that's been consistent, but it was very convoluted before. You had to like solve way more cryptic clues. I guess you could do another bonus if you want some of my old ones.
I'm
it was
curious
like
to hear them for sure.
it was like an archive. I had it as the archive's finding aid, and like that was going to get you a search term to put in their database, and then it would give you a box number, and you had to do that like 5 times. There was way more materials from like multiple different Graveses, and I've decided to consolidate them all into Alexander's exhibit piece. I was so focused on like realism in the sense of I need to have a finding aid. Never mind that it didn't operate like an actual finding aid. That I think once I let that go, I got it together.
There's something very Nancy Drew about that. I feel that would be great for that sort of game.
That's what I was like, because when you said before, you're like, oh man, I don't want to have to open the archive and like find a whole other room. Like if this was a point and click game, you would click on the door, it would make the door opening sound effect and then just kind of like fade to black and like put you back in the room you were in with an object. You don't actually get to look in there.
Yeah.
No one designed it.
Yeah. It's the photo stuff worked, or the painting stuff worked out really well. What were the extra cryptic clues for? More ingredients or various other things?
I assume it's just slightly harder things, like it didn't say blank blank liked botany. It was something a little bit more obtuse than that.
Yeah, they weren't even related to that. It was like keywords that you'd have to search, and they didn't necessarily relate to what was in the box. I was just like, they'll like doing this. So
have you played Root Trees Are Dead recently?
Clues. Yes. Okay. And I feel like it's very like clearly a family tree. And that was what I was playing when I conceptualized the room. And I feel like you're not the first person who said to play this. Also, the fact that you print something out, I feel like that has always been part of it.
All of the family tree stuff. Look, I love family tree related things, so I'm totally into that. But I didn't overly connect that. It's just when it was searching for keywords. That was the thing that made me think of it. I was definitely worried back at the start of the season before this arc began when I did my goats room, and that's all about a goat family tree. I was very worried that I was going to lean too root treesy because it's a great game. I'm not surprised that it's all we're thinking about in terms of puzzles.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them left, but now that I'm thinking about it, there was more root trees flavored things that were in this room before I cut them out.
Great. I love the personality in the diary. I thought
That did
was great.
survive from the beginning.
Oh, yeah,
It
that was
used to
great.
be a little
I've
bit
grown
longer.
tired of the child
but
already. As
Growing
well.
tired
Yeah.
of the child is amazing.
I feel like I needed to remind the players that these are not necessarily great people. I mean, whoever's working in the archive now is doing a repatriation project, but how much other weird stuff used to be in this museum that isn't on display anymore?
That's true. I feel like you speculated in last episode, oh, maybe he's trying to figure out how he can survive in space.
Oh, because the
And
lungfish thing? Yeah,
You
pretty
know
much.
what? Not disproven here.
Yeah, it's like
He wants-
the lungfish went from the ocean to land, and so he would want to go from land to,
And
I guess,
his
space.
ancestor has a map from England, from Earth to Saturn.
Yeah, they want to go to space. They want to be able to breathe in space like a lungfish can breathe on the land.
I think it's a great venture. I support this.
They're fine.
I don't know how much of Eve he will have to harvest to make this happen.
None. Eve's just a lungfish.
I may have some questions, but
Yeah, or of you. You're not conscious right now.
I'll be upset if I am too harvested to witness what's happening.
Wouldn't that be a
bother me
bummer?
greatly.
You just get to room 10 and they're like, sorry, you're dead.
Yeah, no, you're just dead. You're gonna watch other people do this escape room this time.
You know what? Based on how many rooms in like the last year I've written where the ending is a little bit ... And just something will happen in the future, I guess. Maybe sequel bait, or maybe this is
You
just
did
an
do a couple of them.
unsatisfying ending.
Yeah, you got really into thinking I'm gonna make this unsatisfying. That'll get them.
This is my season 11 of The Simpsons, or whatever it was,
Yeah, very
where
strange.
they just stopped ending the episodes.
What do you think happens?
And you know what? When it comes, like, in a lot of fiction, that is a great place to end. That's where you always end a short story, where the end is inevitable. You don't need to write it. But in an escape room, that mileage may vary about how dead you want people to be at the finale.
I did an escape room yesterday where we didn't even know we'd solved it because we'd accidentally bypassed another box
Oh, no!
that had a clue to the one we got in. So we just stood there for like 10 minutes and eventually the person showed up. Better ending for a short story, probably.
There wasn't too much in this room, but I think there was just something early on that made it feel like it was too much.
I got all of my notes
there
on
wasn't
one
in the
page,
notes.
but it did. And I think it is just having shelves of books. It's intimidating.
I think it's also like we entered the first room and it was, there are shelves and shelves of books. You do not need to worry about these shelves of books. You already solved the shelf of book puzzles. There is a table full of more books. In the end, we don't need to worry about those. That puzzle that won't exist in the end. There's a fireplace. Don't worry, there's not a puzzle there. And a door into the next room. And so when it feels like we're moving on to the next room and already giving up on this room, it's actually really the starting room. Like, there's nothing to do in the opening room other than go into the next
they
room.
will all be relevant
so,
pieces, but
like,
nothing.
half of my
very
map-
little of it is.
It wasn't actually kind of used, and it felt already like, oh god, I'm already in room 2. It's like, no, you haven't even started yet. And then when that had 2 more rooms off it, it kind of felt like, oh my gosh,
It
I'm
was
so deep. It's
Interesting
like, no,
how
you
much
haven't.
you managed to make it feel like there was a lot with not that many set pieces.
But it just,
It's
yeah, I think it led to a little bit of a feeling of like, oh my god, when there's too much to do when actually there's nothing to do yet. And it was an odd, like, from trying to feel like, oh,
It's
where
an
are we in the
interesting
pace in the
skill
room?
to
It
harness
became
to be able to
tough.
make a number of things feel like a different number of things.
It's very search heavy early on, and I tried to shift the locations of some things, but there are reasons, and they're just reasons you did not encounter. So the reason that the shelf has to be separate from the reading room by an arch, which I guess I could have just described the office to you to begin with, but most of my playtesters tried to take the coffee and put out the fire, which I can't have happen. So if you do that, you will activate the physical barrier, which is a portcullis that comes down from the
Nice.
arch, and you got to jump back and kind of not be
I was
smacked
thinking
by it.
about that open liquid, that lidless liquid not being in the main room,
Sure.
but luckily we threw it elsewhere.
Yeah, we knew what to do with that instead.
Totally fair. It is a little bit sad that we didn't get portcullis.
True.
that
Yeah, you could
missed
have been.
opportunity, but that's okay.
And if you wanted to, you also could have taken some of the dead roses and lit them on fire and put them in the vase and brought the fire into the other room with you. But you can also just hold the beaker over the fire.
Yeah, I would not have
That's
thought
fair.
of that unless it was presented as a specific, you cannot bring that out.
Early on, I did think of taking the dead roses and putting them in the fire, but I didn't see what I could possibly achieve with that. So I didn't
Kind of
even
just let
say
you
it.
burn them. It's symbolic.
Exactly.
It's a metaphor for God.
You know what? We've had bringing plants back to life just 2 rooms ago, so I thought that might end up being relevant. What has happened to this one rose to keep it alive? Do we have to do something with the others? There was always a chance that could have happened. We didn't know yet about your anti-magic position.
Right. Although we're doing experiments on the lungfish. We're trying to live forever. Nothing magical about that at all. I am afraid to ask this, but it's a question you usually ask. Was there anything that made you feel particularly proud or intelligent?
Getting box, I felt great, and then it was a steep dive after that. But I felt really good about that, and I said at the start I wished that I had been more involved in these sculptures, identifying these sculptures and their positioning relating to symbols, because I thought that was a great puzzle.
I
That's kind of how.
I just really enjoyed doing the placing the people in
Definitely.
their orders, and it was just enough of like a remember this thing from before that you feel good for having remembered it. You're like, oh, I've made a note that we know that a person, because it starts so vague, right?
Yeah.
We know an individual person somewhere died in 1859. A fact we already knew. How is that going to help us? And then it immediately helped us crack all of the stuff.
Definitely.
Right? Where it's like, this person's father did this, and we're like, great. That means this is their son, this is that. And it just cascaded
And
in
the
really
fact-
nicely there. I loved that.
The fact that that one was interspersed with the directional thing, but it didn't feel like too much was being crammed into the one thing. It just felt that was interesting, because there were multiple puzzles fit into that diary, and yet it didn't feel overwhelming or cluttered or too reusy. It just felt sensible.
That's what you do in an archive.
Exactly.
You know what
Yeah.
I found interesting? I think a huge amount of the getting stuck a bit on the cryptic crossword part really fundamentally came down to misreading the equal sign as a minus sign.
It might have.
Because if like as soon as there's an equal sign, you're like, oh, 2 things equal a third thing, and we're not quite sure that the third thing is part of our set of
That's, you know
thingies.
what, you're
of
not
course
wrong.
it's not, because we're making a new thing, so we wouldn't have looked at like. But when it's like this plus this minus this, and 2 of them are on that chart, then you start going like, well, the third one must be on this chart, right? Because we're taking 2 things, we're doing a third thing. These are just 3 separate things. Where is it on the chart? Here are the 7-letter elements. Well, how does it mean that? How does it mean that? How does that? And like getting really stuck in like, it must be from here, or maybe if we open a cabinet, we'll get more because we know it must. And as soon as like, oh, that's an equal sign, it's like, oh, these
So
are 2
it's
things
not
that'll
gonna
create
be
some new
something
thing
we
that we don't
have.
have. The thing that we're looking for, oh, well, we're looking for sulfur
makes
anyway.
sense.
It must be sulfur. Yeah, it is sulfur. Great.
You're
like,
right.
As soon as we knew it was, as soon as we knew what it actually was, which is what it was all the time, that we just made a mistake, it was immediately a much more solvable puzzle. But with a minus, it becomes a really hard thing to solve because the context changes so much.
You're right.
And it was purely just because we
How
misread
funny.
it. It's so interesting how big a difference it makes. But it's fundamentally like, yep, it changes our goals. It changes this, that, and the other. Because I think so much of this is like puzzle solving in general. Like if you don't know your goals at all, it's really hard to do a puzzle, right? This is why puzzle hunts are so hard. Because so often the
definitely. You just know,
goal is so
I'm going to get a
obfuscated.
word or a phrase.
It's like something might happen if you do something. You're like, really? Something might happen if I do something? Yeah, go. What are you talking about, go? All I know is that a thing could happen, that puzzles vaguely exist. This is not enough info to start.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get like more info, like knowing, like the wording, the box one was hard because you couldn't tell us the sort of stuff that we would know from a box.
Well,
because that was the answer.
This is specifically a challenging one that is often in escape rooms and is definitely something that I like using, but I know that in playtests it's tripped you up because you haven't been able to tell what you're getting out of it when what you're getting out of it is an instruction.
Yeah, that can be quite hard as well. Like
it's good to know that is a
one at
trickier
least
kind.
you solved the first thing, so we knew roughly what we were doing.
Well, yeah, and
That you got the word box
exactly.
quite quickly.
So it helped with that, and I think that maybe that's a good thing to have for that sort of puzzle. If it's something where you don't know roughly what type of answer you're going to get, make the very first thing that they're likely to do easier than the rest, so they are going to know right away that they are doing something right.
Yeah, and that worked out in terms of us knowing what we were trying roughly to get out of it.
It just took a while.
Yeah. But no, I did love getting all the people in order. That felt great.
It was fun. I'm starting to feel like alchemical symbols are like Morse code and things like that, where you should just start knowing it for escape rooms, because it's come up a few times now and I forget it every time.
I don't think I've ever seen it in the wild. I want to now because they're all burned into my brain from
They're also a very big Nancy Drew kind
Absolutely,
of thing. I feel like of the
Nancy
Nancy Drews, at least 7 of them have alchemical symbol puzzles in ways that make no sense
So
in the theme.
you'd think that I'd remember.
I'm on a train in the Wild West heading to an old
I only remember
village.
Blackmore,
Let me check these
which was
alchemical symbols.
fair.
What are you doing?
It makes sense in Blackmore. Yeah, this room is truly you could tell I'd recently replayed Blackmore Manor and also Root Trees when I was putting it together.
It's a solid combination.
Yeah, it worked out great.
Do you have any predictions you want to share for the final room?
Eve's going to be there.
Well,
obviously.
my real question is, what is Eve going to do? Has Eve been a lungfish all along? What is happening with her?
Is Eve also
like I've
just
said, how
captured,
much is she being harvested?
and we have to save her while also using her. She'll be like, I see these things. We'll be like, okay, dummy. Here's how you got to do stuff.
Assuming that Albert's a bad person, then I guess it makes sense.
Also,
if he's not a bad person,
here's the thing.
In general, in the broad scope of things, I'm pro his mission and would like to help him get to space.
Yeah, let's not fall into this constant thing of like, he goes, a scientific breakthrough that can help me live longer. Oh, what an evil man.
Yeah.
Like, no, most people who do that are really good. They make everybody live longer. There's a reason that when people are living to their 80s, 90s, to their 100, like, it's because a bunch of people went, why don't I look at science and try and do some research that makes me live longer? Like, that's a really common thread for people who are very helpful to humanity. And the idea that now this guy does it, but he's got a top hat on and makes him bad, like, he's fine. I've looked at a lungfish. I'm going to do an experiment on longevity to see if I can live longer. That's a perfectly normal thing for a scientist to do. And I don't like this classic story beat that anyone who wants to live forever is bad. Maybe we all do, you know? Maybe it's a great thing that we'd all be very happy with. You know?
And that's why I'm saying it's just the amount of harvesting that makes a difference, and that's going to really adjust our reaction and our goals for the next room and who we're planning on helping.
I'm going to say, right?
Quite frankly, if it is the scientist who wants to live longer and visit Saturn versus the child pharaoh,
yeah, I'm going for the
I'm
Saturn
siding with the scientist.
I'm just saying, I think every story is like, oh man, the guy living forever, that's dumb, isn't it, right? Oh, aren't we all glad that we all die? Yeah, this is cool. I think it's cool that everybody dies. Like, it's just, you just try to cope with a situation you don't like by pretending it's morally superior. You know, I'm just saying, I'm on team Albert Rose. Let's help him out. Let's kill Eve and help him out. Because that's what he always has to do. They're always like, oh, I want to live forever. It's like, okay, that seems okay. Oh, I want to kill this child so I can live forever. Now you're bad. Now we can all agree that dying is fine. I'm just saying.
It's the only reason that we couldn't side with Darth Vader. It was all totally fine. Anakin was making very valid points that the Jedi were getting more and more corrupt. So we've got to make sure that he murders some children so that we know.
And now he's definitely evil. Because he didn't do anything evil up to that. He was like, what if I want to heal my wife?
Anakin did nothing wrong up to a point.
And then he only did everything wrong for no reason because he had to be bad. They were like, oh, damn, we wrote him a really normal arc, like a fairly reasonable character arc. We got to make him turn super evil at the end. He has to become Darth Vader. Okay, he's going to kill all the kids. It doesn't even make sense from his point of view. He's just like, I'd like to think, but I'd like to know the secrets that the Jedi are keeping from me. Of course, to prove yourself, murder all these children. I will, Master. My Dark Master, I will kill the children. Why? He shouldn't have agreed to that. He should have been like, oh, okay, that seems crazy. There was no reason he made that decision. So yeah, that's what's going to happen next episode.
I think I think that's a fair prediction.
We need the Inglourious Bastards killing Hitler moment. That's what we need. You know how like that whole movie is like, they do this, but we all know that they can't kill Hitler. So how are we going to resolve it? And then one day he tells the story. He was like, I don't know how Hitler's going to get away. I don't know how Hitler's going to get away. And then at 4 a.m. he wrote a note to himself that just said, just kill him. And then he went to sleep and he woke up and thought, okay, that was surely a terrible idea. And he looked at it and went, no, I love it. I'm just going to kill Hitler. Right? We could do the same thing where it's like, well, obviously, Albert Rose, he's trying to live forever. He must be an evil guy. And obviously, you can't live forever, so how does he get thwarted? I hope in the end it turns out he's a great guy, and then we just invent immortality, and everybody in this universe lives forever, and it's great.
will be very happy if
Wouldn't that
that's
be
the
fun?
ending.
Just be like, well, we know the beat we all have to hit. And he's like, no, we're not going to hit that beat. We're just going to be like, he's a cool dude, and he succeeds, and it's great for everybody.
Would be thrilled.
Isn't this fun? That's what we need.
Maybe. But I think only if your pets can also live forever.
No, we have to kill all the pets.
No, now you have to kill him.
He says, I'm going to kill every dog in the world.
Oh, man.
And then I can live 10 days extra. But it's worth it for me, Albert Rose. I get 10 days every time I kill every dog.
He's like a reverse Javna.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm afraid that, like, because again, I'm only in season 1, if I'm gonna get to a point in Charmed where there is an Albert Rose.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know he was there. He already exists.
Well, we'll find out, shall we? We'll find out next week here on Escape This Podcast.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Miranda, for coming and running a room. It was lovely to have you on. If people wanted to check you out again, I know we mentioned it at the start of your first episode when you appeared and ran the room for us last week. Where can people check out more of your stuff?
You can go to my goofy little Substack at Fairweather Friend, but it's fair with a PH like my last name, friend with an F like you'd normally spell it. I don't know. No, it's not going to be recent by the time this comes out. I did write something about how fun Root Trees is and how much I enjoy it, even though in my real librarian job, I have been occasionally asked to do genealogical research, and I think it's the worst thing in the world.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because what it ultimately comes down to is I cannot make myself care about other people's families, which isn't good to admit.
No,
but
that's reasonable. Like, most people's families aren't as interesting as the Root Trees, I'm sure.
And like, some people have some cool stories, but then sometimes it's like, can you find me proof that this gravestone exists in rural Indiana?
Ooh.
And it's a job for someone else.
And then you reply, why don't you drive to rural Indiana and find out?
Yeah, it'll be faster than me finding a newspaper that mentions it. But around the time this comes out, I think I have been planning to write something about group projects in which I reflect on this experience. So I will have it come out around the same time that this does.
Lovely. All right. Well, there are links to that in the show notes. So people can go and check it out. Thank you so much for coming and running the room. Thank you, Danny.
Thank
for
you.
playing a room with me. Man, I don't know what's wrong with our brains.
It was very
just
upsetting.
Couldn't think of words.
I need to read a book right now.
Read a book? All right, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to help support the show, just go and tell someone about it. In real life or in fake internet life, it's the best way to help spread the word. And now, in a modern context, you need word of mouth to be like, hey, you should listen to this podcast. It's actually generated by human beings. Which is apparently now a caveat you need to give to everything that exists. So they'll only know if you tell them, because they can't trust anything online telling them, because who knows who generated that. You can also help support us on Patreon. We don't run any ads on the show. We make our money through crowdfunding. And thank you everybody who does support us there, because it allows us to make these shows and keep making them free for everybody who wants to listen to them. Anybody who signs up at any level can appear as an NPC in one of Danny's rooms. Not in this one, but also there's new weekly audio episodes for our $5 donors of our playtests and us solving mysteries and us doing cryptic crosswords, where we do remember how words work usually. But there's also a weekly show for the $10 donors where we rewatch all of the 90s series Charmed, which we're having a lot of fun with, as well as monthly videos for the $10 donors, and there's trivia, and there's a whole bunch of fun stuff, and it's always really nice. But most importantly, it is supporting the show so that people like you can get our main show for free. So I hope you all enjoy having Escape This Podcast in your life. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you everybody for for playing and running and doing puzzles. All right, that's the end of the episode. Bye, everybody.